We're now taking a look at a new dawn that is arising within the South African banking sector. There has been at least 6 new banks and banking services that have been launched, and many more are promising to come. These include Discovery Bank, Bank Zero, Time Digital, amongst others. For more on this, I have a team that will help me to discuss this today in the studio. I want you to take a look at the man I'm going to be speaking to. His name is Cheslyn Jacobs. He's the head of sales and service for TymeBank. They do have real people, other than when you try to join through either Pick and Pay or those other platforms that they are giving us. And then also via Skype, we have got Micheal Jordaan. I am hoping and praying that he's at his farm. He's the co-founder, chairman of Bank Zero. Hello, Micheal.
Hi, thank you very much. I like your words, a new dawn, because I think that's what it is.
Is that what it is? You explain to me why that is the case.
Well, I used to be part of the big old banking structure, and it was a wonderful time, and I miss my team. But what has happened in the world is that new technology has been made available that is faster, that is cheaper, and that can bring banking services to people for a far, far lower cost. Now, South Africans have gotten quite used to high bank fees, but they've also gotten used to doing lots of their everyday activities through smartphones. We use WhatsApp and we use Facebook and use Instagram, and we buy things through Amazon and take a lot. And we're saying that that is a model that can very easily extend to banking. Use your smartphone for all banking, and bring the fees down considerably and maybe even to zero.
Yeah. Micheal, you've been talking a lot, and others have been talking a lot as well about this cheaper option that you guys are bringing. I want to know the quantum of that cheapness.
You know, if I give you a percentage that seems to make an impact, something I've said before, the cost of establishing Bank Zero isn't 1% of the budget of a traditional bank. It's 1% of 1%. There is an incredible amount of software available these days that is open source, that is proven, and is effectively free. So a very small team of highly competent developers can construct a banking system these days for next to nothing.
Your salesman is here in the studio with me. So I want to understand, since you guys opened, have you seen, so you can't see a stampede, right? Yeah. Because you don't have the doors that we normally expect. What have you seen in terms of response and in terms of take-up of your bank?
Yeah, Godfrey, thanks for having TymeBank in studio. I mean, South Africans have responded extremely well to what we've put out there in the market.
What is extremely well?
So we've technically been live for about 4 months.
Okay.
Officially been in the market for just over a month now. If you take our above the line launch date being 24th of February, and we've got over 165,000 customers already. Of which almost 60,000 of them signed up just in February alone, and even more of them have signed up in March. So South Africa is responding extremely well to what we have in offer. And I think that in the same tune of what Micheal said, it's the new dawn. You know, so South Africans have been used to doing banking the way it's been presented to them for years and years. In some cases, more than a century.
Yeah.
And I think with what's happening with our population, as Micheal said, what's happening with smartphone penetration in the country, I really think the time is now.
And what kind of customer are you getting joining up?
Yeah, so the nice thing with Time, we've got the partnership with Pick and Pay and Boxer, and that kind of gives us presence all over the country. You know, so we're getting all kinds of customers, all ages. Okay. The interesting thing is almost 20% of our customers now are between the ages of 46 and 65.
Oh, really?
And
20%?
And one would ask, why would a 46-year-old want to sign up for TymeBank?
Yeah, you're looking at one who's 10 years younger than
that.
So why would that be joining your bank?
So again, the nice thing about TymeBank, it's absolutely hassle-free. It will take you less than 5 minutes to open a TymeBank account at one of our kiosks inside of Pick and Pay and Boxer. 100% really.
I haven't tried it.
The fastest recorded time, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Godfrey, I challenge you, get to your nearest Pick and Pay and Boxer, give it a shot, time yourself. Yeah. If you take more than 5 minutes, it's most probably you, not the kiosk, but the kiosk will definitely
So when you mentioned Boxer, so in my previous life, I used to be a retail reporter, and I used to cover the retail companies, and so we always sort of classed Boxer, if you like, as the lower end of the market. Is that a particular target of yours?
So within TymeBank, we kind of say we target the underserved, but attract the overserved. So again, so if I'm forced to answer from a marketing perspective, which customer we're target, we must probably answer the question in a way of LSM, typical LSM 5 to 8.
Yeah.
So it's kind of your emerging middle class customer from a target perspective.
Yeah.
But again, the amount of value we've packed into the TymeBank offering, it would appeal to most people, most average South Africans.
So what do those people do when they open their account? Do they continue banking with their traditional bankers, or do they dump them and come completely to you? Are you able to tell us kind of
So ideally, TymeBank would want them to dump what they're using and
put
and
their
use
salaries into TymeBank?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, realistically, we're a new bank. It's South Africans are responding well. So we expect these things to take a bit more time. So as things happen every day is all the numbers. So we're getting increased deposits, increased transactions. So I think consumers are now starting to build trust in TymeBank. And as they build that trust, they will start putting their salaries in TymeBank as well.
Yeah. Let me bring in an independent voice here. Kokkie Kooyman is a portfolio manager at Denker Capital. He joins us as well via Skype. Kokkie, hello. You have been watching the banking industry for a long time, and you probably understand it better than most. So Micheal and Cheslyn here are trying to tell me that there's a new dawn. I don't know whether it's as false as Cyril Ramaphosa's new dawn, but would you agree with him that there's a new dawn here and should be getting excited?
No, I totally agree that it's a new dawn. It's just going to be a very long day. So, I think it's very exciting what guys like Time have done, and like the signing on time and the availability, and also what Micheal is going to come with. But I think they themselves most probably also realistic in realizing these things just take a long time for client behavior to change, for the brand to get known, for the distribution to come through. So even at this stage, African Bank is taking more deposits than all the other small ones together. So and that's a branch network that's just been established for so long, and with a bad brand. So it just takes longer than people think.
Absolutely. I like it, Kokkie, that people are watching CNBC Africa, so they are trying to call you because they saw you on TV. From your understanding, how much will these guys be able to take off the traditional banks? I'm going to ask Micheal his target in terms of market share as well, and I'm going to ask Cheslyn here his target in terms of the number of people that he wants to sign up. How much do you think they will be able to take out of FNB, Standard Bank, Absa, etc.?
On a 1-year basis, if they take 1% market share, they'll be very lucky. 1% is very big of the total banking share. The longer you push it out, if you go 3-5 years, then that can increase. But the first year, I think 1% is a lot. It's massive.
Yeah. Is that for all of these new banks that are coming in?
Yeah, because at the same time, it's a very important point. They'll be competing with each other as well.
Yeah.
And it's not as if South Africa is in a high growth phase where there's a lot of cash running around. So you're competing in a tough market, and you're competing with each other, against each other, and you're competing against a very well entrenched banking market.
Absolutely. I'm going to come back to you, Kokkie, and ask about the impact that these guys will have, how important their entrance is into the market. Let's go to Micheal. Micheal, how much are you trying to get out of your former employers who helped you to give these new ideas that you now are going back to attack them with?
Look, I think Kokkie is probably right that it'll start slowly. But like that famous kind of how some people go bankrupt, it's slowly and then suddenly. So we live in an era where things are exponential, where 1% can become 2%, then 4, then 8, then 16, then 32. These things will suddenly start moving very quickly. So we are just available to anyone coming either from the old banks or a new generation who are just natives when it comes to smartphone usage. And I think the important thing here is it's going to be very beneficial for customers, even the customers that stay with banks, and we're not encouraging them to do so, but clearly banks will have to respond. Their fees will have to come down, their costs will have to come down. It's not just the customers who switch that are going to benefit from this revolution, it's even the customers that remain at the existing banks, because they will have to lift their game.
Yeah, no, they're definitely responding. I can tell you that I was telling Cheslyn earlier on that I walked through my bank, which happens to be your former employer, FNB, and what I saw was a bank of computers, and there were guys there, what they were doing was not so much as, talking to someone on the phone all the time. It was more like showing these people what to do on the laptop. So essentially equipping them to be able to transact without having someone at their beck and call. But perhaps that will change in time. Let me come to you, Cheslyn. So you said 65,000 walked through in February. What's your target?
56, just under 60,000.
Just under 60,000, okay. What's your target? What target you've been given?
So the number we're chasing this year, Godfrey, is we want to have 1 million customers on TymeBank this year. So
1 million?
1 million. It's an aggressive number. We're trending really well.
Very aggressive.
But we have to understand it. To become a TymeBank customer is virtually hassle-free. It takes you less than 5 minutes inside a Pick n Pay or Boxer environment where you're most probably going to be at least once a month, if not once a week. An additional 5 minutes of your time is very, very little. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. There's no monthly fees. There's no cost to open the account. So if you choose to open the account and choose to do nothing with it, there's absolutely no financial burden on that customer. So again, just with that in mind, we actually think South Africans will respond positively to what TymeBank has offered.
Yeah.
And like Micheal said, I have to reiterate what he said. It's not about customers switching. It's not necessarily about us taking away market share from other financial institutions in the country. It's about us providing consumers with choice.
Yeah.
And
also getting in new guys. So I wanted to understand that mix between the new guy and the established guy who's coming in and opening the TymeBank account.
Yeah, so if you look at what banks have done in South Africa over the years, I believe they've done a great job in getting bank cards into people's hands. I think it's a completely different debate whether they have the right product in their hand for that matter. But the fact that they've got bank cards, I think banks have done a really good job at creating that level of access.
Very quickly, your inbox, what does it contain? What do people ask about?
So, all kinds of things. They want to know about the interest rates on savings. They want to know about. They want to know about the loyalty program. Smart
You don't
Shopper,
provide
and how we
borrowing.
tied into that. We don't provide borrowing just yet. So it's purely a transactional bank account with a savings pocketing embedded.
Absolutely. Kokkie, can I come to you and ask what impact you think these guys will be able to have on the South African banking market? So I asked Micheal at the beginning of the show. He said it's going to be cheaper, and I was just asking the question, how cheap? I don't know. You probably understand it better than I do.
Yeah. No, so I think guys like Micheal and Bank Zero and TymeBank can undercut the traditional banks, I would say, by at least 50% if they want to. Simply because they don't have that huge infrastructure that they needed to set up. So today, and we see it all over the world, we see that a lot in India, which is technologically also very advanced, but even in a lot of African countries where mobile banking has taken off, the incumbents, because they can just leapfrog, can start off a very low and very cheap base. And so for the large banks, the battle is more, it's like the war of the flea. They're very small, but they're just too small to really worry about. And the banks made the same mistake when Capitec started. And Capitec for a long time just continued gaining market share, but each time it was too small to really matter. And then by the time the banks realized what Capitec is doing, then it was already well established. So, and I think that is what Micheal is saying as well, is that it will start slowly and then it can grow quite quickly if they keep having the resources at their disposal to keep growing.
Absolutely. Kokkie, quickly, if I can. So the Reserve Bank, people who have been watching the banking sector in South Africa for a long time know it's very, very, very strict in terms of its management, and it's also been difficult to break into the South African market, and some people in the past have suggested the Reserve Bank is the fault. Do you see it being able to provide the kind of regulation that's required for these new smart guys?
Yes, I think the Reserve Bank has also obviously made leaps and bounds in terms of technology, but the main thing on banking is trust. And so if you as a client place your money with a bank, you want to make sure you can trust them. And that is the major role the Reserve Bank plays, to make sure that the players are trustworthy, they've got good management, they've got good directors, good shareholders. And especially when it comes to lending, that there's good oversight in terms of the lending practices. So as a depositor, you don't want to, a lot of people have experienced what happened with Sambo Bank many years ago, then with African banks. You don't want to, as a depositor, find out that your bank has made injudicious lending and has lost your money, and you might lose your deposit. So the Reserve Bank there, I think, has played a good role, and also now in opening up to these younger players, but I'm sure it's doing a lot in terms of monitoring them.
Absolutely. We're going to monitor them as well. Kokkie Kooyman, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thanks as well to Micheal, Jordaan. Let's release him so he can go back to his wine farm. And in the studio here, Cheslyn Jacobs, head of sales. He needs to go and sell. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your time.